Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody's talked about him yet. Virgil, Sam Elliott's character.
Yeah, Virgil he's dope.
He's great. You know, he's kind of like in the shadows a lot. Like
he's kind of stoic.
Yeah, you know, but
like when he helps the lady and her kid, they're about to get like whooped by a rope. Stuff like he's always in shadows helping.
Yeah, I love that. He's like the one that pretty much talks them into like, no, like I know you don't want to get involved, but we need to. Like we are involved, and he becomes like a marshal and shit, you know, and kind of pushes, makes that push. Like, no, we gotta do something about these dudes because they're not gonna stop. You know what I mean? They were trying to be like...
I like that he showed his age with the cane. Like, he's like, I'm the old one here. I'm the one that... And I think it's more for his aim that he brought that out, but that was kind of cool. Small things on the character. You could tell Doc was the wild one. He's wearing the overcoat with not even it fully on. And they even say, give him the shotgun. He's basically going to start causing havoc. Like...
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like you said like Virgil was like the older. Well, obviously he was the older brother, but he was the voice of reason. Like he was down for whatever they were doing up until the point where he finally saw the suffering of the whole town.
Yeah,
you know, because
his brother dying.
Yeah, even before when they were like, you know, you're wasting your time. You know, I'm busy. I'm doing other shit. He was so gung ho about not becoming involved. And then so when he finally saw it, he was like, you know what? This has nothing to do with you, Wyatt. It has, you know, it's bigger than you. It's nothing personal, but what's happening right now, I can't just let it happen. People are dying out in the street. So I feel like Virgil did the right thing in a bad place, but it didn't benefit the family, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they were somewhere else where the Cowboys weren't, you know, like if the Cowboys weren't in Tombstone, I think they would have made a killing, dude.
They would have been there forever.
They would have been, you know, it would have been like a Vegas, you know.
It's like trouble always followed them too. Like they couldn't go anywhere without having to deal with something.
And I think that's because they're so polar opposites. Like however good they are, because they're peacemakers, trouble's gonna follow them. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got trouble. Yeah. What about you, Diego? Who is your favorite character, man?
Obviously Doc is one of my favorite characters, but actually I forgot her name. That was playing off Kurt Russell.
Josephine.
Kurt Russell's Josephine. Yeah.
She was his side piece.
Yeah. that underlying storyline was, I was like, oh my god.
I'm like, dang, he's like, oh, fuck my wife, sorry for the headaches, but you know, kind of expired now.
Yeah.
When he tests her, he's like, oh, you don't like you don't want to. She's like, Trip, like, what are you talking about? Staying in motels and living on room service. What are you talking about?
And she
all this nonsense, Wyatt.
She laughs at him like room service.
Yeah. He's like, oh damn, I got the wrong one.
Fine, Wyatt. Yeah, I felt for that guy because I've been in those situations before, dude.
I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
No, but it was totally relatable, dude. So I was like, dang, that's pretty crazy. But it just showed you what he wanted, dude, and that's not what he wanted.
Yeah,
that's not what he felt like he was capable. So, I was gonna say that Josephine character was a real person, dude, and she really was like a celebrity, like a thespian and shit, and she really was having
like a traveling artist.
Yeah, she really was hitting up Wyatt on the side and shit. And from what I gathered from, I can't remember where, but it was something that stood out to me. Somebody said in like a little YouTube thing where it was said that it was rumored that she was highly respected as a celebrity, but she wasn't as attractive as Wyatt Earp's wife. So that was something that people took into consideration, where he felt like Wyatt Earp could have anybody. Why does he want her? But it was more so because of who she was as a person.
They connected more on a mental like connection rather than a physical.
Because
he thought she was more free, open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's on her own. It just shows you what the heart wants. The heart wants, dude, and it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's cool that you brought her up as a character because she's also essential too, dude. She plays a lot. She brings out a lot of emotion in the movie, dude, and also her sidekick, fucking Billy Zane, dude, the fucking mechanic dude. Shout out to Billy Nilly, dude.
I love the underline. What's his name? The guy. What's his name? The guy with the glasses. I forget.
Jason Priestley? No.
The one that was like attracted to him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like he's amazing.
There's Billy Nilly.
Yeah. Billy Nilly.
I love that.
I was gonna say it kind of showed you that there was homosexuality in that time that wasn't accepted, you know. And even though he even says like, you know, why do you hang out with those guys? They just made fun of you. But he's like, yeah, but they were my friends because I felt like those cowboys, even though they had their morals and shit, they accepted that guy because they didn't care that he was you know, gay or homosexual. They were still his friends, you know. So that's why he says like, I'm nobody, but if I was a somebody, I would shoot you, I would fight you because you killed my friends, dude. That lets you know. That lets you know that they kind of had his back. It didn't matter who he was.
Yeah, because then even like towards the end when he sees that Billy Zane's character gets killed during the shooting, he kind of realizes like, yo, I don't want this anymore. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And even
they grabbed his
Marshall. He's like,
if you listen to why they killed him is somebody tried to rob Josephine.
And he called him a savage.
Yeah, and fucking and basically was protecting his homegirl, and he fucking got lit up because of that. And so I think wasn't Jason Priestley Billy Nilly character, wasn't he a deputy? He was like a deputy, right? Because he was part of the law.
Yeah, I think towards the middle or something. I don't know if he was the whole way through.
That's cool. I like the fact that they touched on that too, because that was kind of taboo for the 90s as well.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, especially for the early 90s, that was like super taboo. And the fact that they used this in this movie, it kind of made it made me be more appreciative, because now you can appreciate it more in these times. Yeah. I think it's ahead of its time for what the storylines that were brought on during this time period, you know.
Yeah, even though I mean it's not elaborated on, but it's definitely touched on and it's tolerated. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like they wanted to dive into it, but it's so taboo that they just touched on it, you know.
Yeah.
Sheriff Behan. When Sheriff Behan first announces, like he states who he is, he says that he's the president of the Anti-Chinese League.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So like after like the showdown of the OK Corral, you could see like there's like a little Chinatown part in Tombstone, and I didn't put that together until recently, where I'm like, oh shit, because they are in charge of all the opium in there.
Yeah.
And shit. So I wonder. I don't know how historically accurate that is, but I know that the Chinese weren't accepted in America, especially, you know, back then, where they were kind of like the minority, and they would kind of shun them out of the town. So it was kind of like all of the outlaws went to the opium dens and shit to go get high, because there was like the back skirts and like the back alley sketchy parts of town and shit.
Yeah,
they probably didn't like mind the Chinese either. They're probably people to go.
It's just like in Deadwood. If you guys have seen that series on HBO, check that out. It's pretty similar with like the opium dens and stuff.
What would you guys? Did we get everybody's favorite scene and favorite character part?
My favorite character is probably Doc Holliday, but I mean, for obvious reasons, he's such a badass, and he just kind of doesn't care. I think he knows he's like on his last leg of life, so he's kind of just like, whatever is whatever. And I really like I like when he has the doctor come and see him, and then he tells him, you got about 60% of your lung is gone, and he's like, oh, okay, and then he
the tissue, right?
Yeah, the tissue's all deteriorating and stuff. And he tells his girlfriend or whatever he is. He's like, I think we have to define the rules of the terms of our engagement or whatever. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, Doc, I'm not leaving you. And he's like, you may be the best thing in the world or something. He's like, or you may be the Antichrist.
Yeah, dude.
And I thought that was topping him off. So that was pretty funny.
I like the chemistry that he has with her, and it's funny. It's funny that you say that, because when he finally leaves her at the end, and he's like, I'm gonna go help Wyatt because he's my friend, and she's like, I don't get it. Like, well, where does that leave me? And he kind of just like scruffs and like, well, I guess that just leaves you out of a meal ticket. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't really care about you, bitch. Like, I'm gonna go help my friends right now.
Yeah. Hey, without being White's friend, it shows how like truly alone that he was though in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that to me was deep about Doc's character.
Did you guys notice when Doc Holliday was on his deathbed? And Wyatt comes and visits him, and he's playing cards and stuff, and he confesses to him, it's like, I only loved one other person my entire
my first
life.
Cousin.
And it was his first cousin, dude.
Yeah.
He was like, he's like, she was all I ever wanted, and she joined a nunnery or some shit like that. And I was like, dang, that probably fucked that guy's life up, dude. Like, he was just like, I don't want nobody else.
He was just about those hoes after that.
Yeah.
He's living that fuckboy life, bro.
Sweet
he was ahead of his time.
He was, dude, and he didn't shake hands either.
Yeah,
he was the original fuckboy, bro.
Forgive me if I don't shake hands.
Yeah. Oh man,
that fool had COVID back in the Tombstone days, dude.
You still in my joke now? Still in my joke?
You said that, but you said that last episode.
I'll give it a solid 9.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 9.5 up there, almost a 10, like close to a 10 for me at least.
Yeah, dude, screw it.
Yeah,
it is a perfect movie, dude. It is a perfect movie. I must say like 9.8 just so I can give it a 10.
Not quite a 10. It's right there. It's at the cusp of being perfect, but not
it's
quite.
It's a 10, but by
like
0.2%.
Like, you're gonna put it all the way in, except for just that much. Especially because the all-star cast, dude. Like, we didn't even give much respect to Powers Booth. I feel like Powers Booth really brought out with Stephen Lang too. They really brought out the protagonist antagonist part of the movie. But Powers Booth, man,
they did so well, dude.
Also not with us.
Freaking.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Powers Booth. I really loved him in Sin City, dude. But yeah, R.I.P. to Powers Booth, man. That guy was cool in that movie. Curly Bill.
What's your rating, Wesley?
I would say a 9. Definitely a solid 9. Especially on the Western front for when this came out. I think it's I could be wrong, but I think it's like number 16 in the most profitable Westerns ever. It's number 16.
Oh, nice.
Hey, what was that movie that you guys and I'm fucking butchering this, dude. The movie you guys did a review for with Gene Hackman and Sharon Stone. We
did it together.
Yeah, I know. What was the movie called? I forget.
The Quick and the Dead, dude.
The Quick and the Dead, dude. Like, would you guys? How would you guys compare it to Quick and the Dead? Would you guys say it's better, or is it before or after the Tombstone?
I think that was after. I think
it was after Tombstone.
I think. Obviously,
I remember when we did the Quick and the Dead movie. I was like, man, why don't we do Tombstone? I think that was like one of my first thoughts. Do you feel like